My name is Becky, and I am a nurse in the NICU at Bryan.
I guess the thing about being a nurse, and especially working with a population that Becky does in the NICU, those small babies, is that you're not just working with the babies, but you're also working with the parents who are scared and nervous and have questions. And so working with Becky was always really nice because she had the patience and she had the knowledge to really take care of those babies. She was always very supportive of the parents, and as a nurse, you have to help educate parents, you have to be a listener for them and comfort them in hard times, and Becky was really great in those situations doing those things. While she's helping these babies fight for their life, she's also fighting for her own, and you wouldn't ever know that about her. She never complains, she works hard. You wouldn't know that she's going through a struggle too, and I think that really says a lot about her personality and her as a person, that how strong of a woman she is. She's a mother and she's a nurse, and she's also battling cancer. And I think the way that Becky handles herself is just really inspiring to all of us.
The word that comes to mind with Becky is tenacious. She never stops going. When she was diagnosed with cancer, stopping working was never even a thought to her. She kept going with that. She didn't stop any of her family events, and she maintained her friendships more than ever. I remember when I was at my house and I needed some yard work done. She wasn't feeling that good that day, but she decided to come over with her husband anyways and help me. And she said her back was really hurting, but she still was helping me pull weeds and dig things up. And that same week, she found out that her back was broken. And she still worked through all of that. And that's the kind of person Becky is. You know, even when she was going through all of her medical stuff, she puts it into a totally different perspective where she just accepts it and embraces it and doesn't let it affect her life negatively, which I think we can all learn from in just everyday life.
Becky is a hero because even with the diagnosis of cancer, she has remained strong. I've never seen anybody as positive as Becky is. Probably works when maybe she shouldn't work. You know, when we think something is bad, then all you gotta do is just look at her and, you know, she's still got a smile on her face. She's still very positive. She just still laughs. She's amazing.
4 years ago now, I was initially diagnosed with breast cancer. Went through chemotherapy, had surgery, was in the clear after that, and then about 2 years later, started having some back pain, ended up in the hospital with some compression fractures, and found out that my cancer had spread and was back. And so for the last 2 years now, I've been doing chemotherapy every 3 weeks, and that will continue indefinitely. So it's just weird. So a long time ago when I was in college, for whatever reason, I just randomly told my husband one day, I was like, you know, I kind of just plan on having cancer one day. And he's like, that's morbid. I'm like, not really, because if I plan for the worst but hope for the best, then that day when I get that phone call from the doctor that's like, hey Becky, you have cancer, I'll be like, okay, so now what do we do? And so oddly enough, I think that just kind of, I don't know, just made it a little bit easier, I guess. And just knowing that there's so much of it in the world, it was like, instead of saying, why me, why not me? It can happen to anybody. So I always tell my kids, you know, is crying about it gonna change anything? Well, no, it's not. So might as well just make the best of it.